What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, and TV shows. And right now, I'd like to give you guys my review on Season 1 of the new Netflix original series, Pacific Rim: The Black. So Pacific Rim: The Black is a continuation of the Pacific Rim movie series, which included the first Pacific Rim with Idris Elba, which was very good, a lot of fun, just did a great job of building this new world of kaiju versus Jaeger, action, adventure, science fiction craziness. And yeah, season 1, episode 1, the first movie, Pacific Rim, was good. I know some people thought it went a little long. Some people didn't care for it. I loved it. I thought the first Pacific Rim was great. The second Pacific Rim Uprising, not so much. It wasn't really a very good movie. It took place about 10 years later, and it involved a isolated incident where the kaiju get out, or some kaiju are able to get out of the rift again, and it involved kind of a race to stop the kaiju before they could cause a catastrophe to occur. It had some nice monster sequences, but not really until the end of the movie. We had to wait the whole movie to really get the action that we signed up for. So yeah, Pacific Rim Uprising was really a pretty big disappointment, and I think most people really agreed because not a lot of people went to see it. So it looks like the movie franchise Pacific Rim has been shelved. So instead we get this TV series, which is anime. And I'm not a big fan of anime. I don't watch anime. I don't like it in general. But I do like Pacific Rim. So I thought that I would try this out. So this is a sequel to Uprising, kind of. It takes place after Uprising, that's really all we know, but it's not really connected to the movies in any way. This is very much its own standalone storyline about two twins, what are their names? Taylor and Haley, I believe, right? Taylor and Haley, who get a Jaeger, and they travel across Australia looking for their parents. And in the process, they have to fight some kaiju in a Jaeger, and some tragic stuff happens, and some action sequences happens, and at the end, there's some resolution, while at the same time, they set it up for a season 2. So was it any good? Meh. It was okay. It was okay. Again, I'm not a big anime fan, but it was okay. Let's put the anime aside and just focus on the story. As a standalone Pacific Rim story, it was okay. It introduced some new fun stuff to the mythology of Pacific Rim, especially the kaiju dogs. Those were really cool. They popped up several times, and those were my favorite parts of this series. Was when the kaiju dogs popped up. The kaiju Jaeger action left me wanting. Honestly, the kaiju Jaeger action, there was some cool sequences, especially early on, but for the most part, the kaiju Jaeger action left me wanting more. I felt very disconnected from the action, and I didn't feel like the action was particularly compelling. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it is animation. It is animation, so since it's animation, this is stuff this is stuff we've seen before. This is stuff we've seen lots of times before. I mean, they were making giant robots and monsters fighting each other back in the 80s. This is nothing we haven't seen. So because of that, I think that there was this certain level of disconnect and a certain level of apathy towards it because it was animated and it wasn't set in a live-action movie. It just felt a little dour, a little dull. Unnecessary. The storyline between the twins was interesting enough. Them looking for their parents, it was interesting enough. They have a boy with them that they found, and they found him in a genetics lab. I think it was a genetics lab, right? Maybe it was a Jaeger lab. But he isn't exactly a boy. I mean, he's a boy, but there's more to him. So that story was a little compelling. And that story is definitely a story that they're going to be continuing with moving into season 2, because the threads at the end that they're picking up on really had to do with this boy. I think that the storyline with this boy, I don't want to get too spoiler here, but the storyline with this boy, they're definitely treading into this is too corny territory. We'll see where they take it. I mean, they went as far as, I don't want to say that. It might be a little spoilers. Yeah, this could be a little corny. It looks like they're bringing some religious components into the kaiju mythology, and I always get nervous when they do that as well. And that's just because I'm a Christian, and I always get nervous when they bring any kind of religious component in, because it seems like Hollywood loves making Christians look bad. And they don't really know how to portray Christians on screen. So they do it by making fun of them, or making them look evil. So when in fact, we're just normal people. We're just normal people. So it was okay. And that's the best way to describe Pacific Rim: The Black. It was okay. A very standalone Pacific Rim story, not really attached to, no ties to the movies. It clearly takes place after Uprising, but no real ties to the movies in any way. Just a standalone story about two kids, their Jaeger, and their search for their parents in a kaiju-dominated world. So, I enjoyed it enough, and I will be watching season 2. I will be. May not be as enthusiastic about it as I was about season 1, but I'll be watching. So what did you guys think of Pacific Rim: The Black season 1? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your take on it. While you're down there, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I put out a lot of content, and I want to make sure that you're up to date with everything that I'm doing. And as always, thank you so much for joining me right here at the Geeky Review, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you later.